crash. We're lucky to be alive.
It's so loud here.
We call it the noise. Happened to all the men on this planet. Every thought in our heads were on display.
Where are all the women?
They're dead.
No noise. What is she thinking? Where the hell is her noise?
It's strange.
He's stronger than he knows. You better watch your noise.
Snake.
Those men catch you, they'll kill you.
Get in the boat!
If you want to protect the girl, you have to leave now.
Safe, keep you safe, keep you safe.
With her power, there's no telling what he can do. I need that girl before she wants him. How many are coming? 100? 200?
Thousands.
Come on, I am Tptoa, be a man. Fight.
Be quiet. I'm trying.
Come on, fight.
Hello and welcome to the Periodic Table of Awesome. My name is Dion.
My name is Dion. I think my name is Dion. I don't know. What am I meant to do? Should I do the intro? I don't know. Should I maybe introduce some other people first? I don't know.
Be a man.
Be a man. My name is Dion, man. My name is Dion Brooks.
God, okay, thanks. Wow, okay, just out me right there.
Yeah, sorry.
Evening. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Yeah, I can see your noise, Quinny. I can hear your noise.
Oh God,
too.
no!
Yeah.
Sorry, no. That's just the reflection of my head.
Or I thought it was just turtles. All you can think about is turtles, which is occasionally we see behind you just turtles.
Yeah,
just
well,
turtles, just
no,
turtles.
I can't do that.
Just think of turtles.
Yeah.
Just think of turtles. You see,
Don't
this
think
would be
of turtles. Don't think of the elephant.
a world where Peter
turtles,
would
no?
have killed us ages ago because we just won't shut the fuck up. Hi, Pete.
I just thought I'd sit here and be silent because I can.
Hang on, Dion. I think you just introduced our world, the world in which Peter sits there while we just won't shut the fuck up.
Right. Excellent. Yes.
yes.
And hello to everyone in the chat. Hello.
Hey, it's lovely to see you all.
Congratulations.
And,
we have some things.
which is
good.
You can now
because-
use all of those cool affiliate things that
Yeah,
affiliates
you can do
do.
subscribey business in the Twitchy me thing, or
Yeah,
the
and
Ko-Fi or whatever. We'll
Yeah,
learn how to
but
do this eventually.
A big shout out to Predicanga for being the first person to subscribe. Congratulations. Well done. Thank you very much. We love you very much.
Yes, is first
Very
still a
exciting.
thing on the internet?
Well, it came up with a little one. Like he now has a first next to
First.
his name on my list.
First.
He is a first.
Oh dear, and unfortunately, well, I mean, I don't know what exactly is happening, but Jill was supposed to be joining us, but Jill is having technical difficulties, so she's dead to us.
Wow. I mean, I hate to do this whole review with only like 2 male voices and 1 female voice.
No, the perfect way to do this review is just 2 male voices. Or perhaps just 1 male voice. Going,
Yeah.
sure, what I didn't like about Chaos Walking was there was just too many strong female characters.
Oh no, Jill is in the chat, and I think it's crapped itself.
Oh,
Everyone say hi to Jill
no.
2203.
Hi, Jill. I
Oh.
wanted to know what you thought.
Yeah, everyone does. She can tell us. Maybe
Yeah.
she can be your noise. So you can say things while you're here, but you have the internal logic of Jill talking through there.
Yeah,
I don't know how
yeah.
to
So
do
you
this.
you will see the voice of Jill appearing as words on a screen, not above our heads, but you know.
Ah, well, at least she's there in the chat. Hi, Jill.
Absolutely.
Sorry, your computer has fucked itself.
dear.
Literally like 2 minutes before. It's like, oh, my computer's turned off. Oh, it's not coming back. Shit.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
It is. And I'm going to have to say that there's a chatter happening in the chat about subscriptions and subs and stuff like that and owners gifts. I have no fucking clue how any of this works.
No.
So we've never been an affiliate before.
Yeah.
So
to me,
you know what?
a gift is a meme from Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
It is a gift.
That is Casper, who is now subscribed at tier 1. Thank you, Casper. You're amazing.
And
you
a
have
sub
been a
is
wonderful
someone
supporter this whole
who
time.
sexually prefers. Oh wait, no,
What?
nothing. Gifts and
So
subs.
we are now talking. We are talking about a film, and we are talking about a film that is full of walking and chaos.
I have no idea. Why do they call it Chaos Walking? It sucks. It's a weird title, and I don't like it. But they nevertheless did it.
The opening crawl does kind of tell you that.
Yeah. Well, what? That it sucks.
No, no. The reason it's called Chaos Walking.
Oh, did I read it?
Because a man who can't control his thoughts is basically just chaos walking.
Oh, there was a metaphor. Euphemism?
I don't know. All I'm doing is reading Peter's face at this point.
Yeah. Well, look, I much would have preferred this film if it was called the first book.
I feel like getting hung up on the title is an interesting place to get stuck on, but I understand that this is actually based on a series of books, so it could be that there may be something lost in the translation and that the title makes perfect sense.
Sure.
With more information.
Yes. The title of the first book from this series, it was The Knife of Never Letting Go. And I would have, if I'd seen like a thing of like a forested cabin and a young man and a young woman standing in front of it and it said The Knife of Never Letting Go, I would have thought, what is this Oscar bait romantic comedy that I am about to, oh sorry, not romantic drama that I'm about to watch of Frontier America? And then I would have been severely confused by what the fuck is going on in this film.
Possibly, but also I think the title The Knife of Never Letting Go is kind of badass.
Yeah.
Like I for me, that's a title that makes me go, what? I want to know what's going on. What is this knife? What are we not letting go of?
Yeah. Especially considering, you know, I would say if chaos walking is the description of someone who can't control their thoughts and they become chaos walking, I find there was no one in this film who was chaos walking.
Though I feel like, I mean, Tom Holland or Todd Newberry, Todd.
Well, I mean, no, what was his name?
Todd.
Todd Hewitt. That's right.
Yeah. Todd Hewitt. I'm Todd. He. How could you forget that?
Do you think he mantras that to himself when he's trying to avoid Spider-Man spoilers? I'm Tom Holland. I'm Tom Holland. I'm Tom Holland. I'm Tom Holland. Don't think about Spider-Man. Don't think about Spider-Man. Don't think about Electro's in Spider-Man 3. Damn it!
Probably. I imagine that maybe they did the same thing with this film that they did with all the other Marvel films with Tom Holland, where they just didn't tell him what the fuck it was about.
Sure. I would have loved to be in the ADR studio for this film. That would have been very interesting.
And I'm pretty sure that this film is one of...
Oh my God!
Oh God, it's Jill.
She's upside down,
upside
Miss Jane.
down.
I love this. This is great. This is Chaos Walking. Right
Congratulations and welcome to the Chaos Walking stream.
I love it. Oh no.
Is it working?
Yeah, it
down?
is.
Yes, you are.
You're upside down, but it's great. We can fix this. We can do it in
No,
post.
I love it. It's very exciting.
Can you rotate me?
down.
I can try. Look, I'm gonna just try. Like, let's just try and figure out what we're doing. What we're doing.
I love that Dion is doing this shit on the fly, and I fully respect him for that.
We can.
Look at it. The things moving around on the screen. It's
I
a
really had to
magical.
Frankenstein some kind of a thing to hold my phone, and the only way I could do it and plug my headphones in was to have the phone upside down.
So it is unsurprising that you're upside down. I see how this has happened.
Okay,
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just do this.
Wait, no. Hey, I did it.
Did it work?
Yes.
Um,
You're upside
well-
down, like you're upside down. We're looking at you upside down, but on the
yeah.
stream, you're the right way
Yeah,
up.
it's like- I'm
That's
still
not
looking
gonna
up
be
your
changing
nose.
at all.
What if I go like hamburgers?
Stop the
Yeah.
hamburger.
Oh, there we go.
Jill, stop it. It's just, God damn it.
Participate!
To all of you who have just subscribed, aren't you so happy that you put your time and effort into this amazing podcast?
No, it's perfect. We've got you
I
now.
couldn't work
You're
out how to
there.
do the screen.
It's
so-
amazing. No, it's good. It's very good. I love it.
I'm
And
here.
you're here.
You are here, Jill. Well, yeah, and what's more, your audio sounds better than it has in ages.
What? Wow,
why.
don't tell Rode microphones.
Oh, wow.
Anyway,
Yeah.
What did I miss? What did
Us.
I miss?
No, chaos is what you created.
yeah.
Chaos. No, we're fine. We're walking through chaos, and we're all fine here. How are you?
I'm good. I'm
Good.
actually well now. I'm
Hooray!
over my cold,
Hooray!
I'm glad to hear it.
which kept me away last week because I couldn't hold a sentence for 10 seconds without coughing.
Oh, well, you do sound, you've still got a bit of the throat, but it's kind of the sexy
Yes,
throat
a
now.
little bit. Oh.
Yeah.
See, a week ago it was $2 hooker. Now it's just sexy.
Good.
I'm sorry, $2 sex worker.
Speaking
you.
speaking of $2 sex worker, Daisy Ridley's in this film.
Wow.
Oh.
Whoa, dude.
How was that a segue?
It's one of those segues with no handles.
It
So you
was
just go-
yeah. It was one
The
of
hoverboard.
yeah, it was one of those hoverboards that I'm trying to ride down a country pathway. It's
God.
not easy.
When Peter's face goes like that, that means we have to get on with stuff. No, Amy, it's not too late to unsubscribe.
Oh.
But
Fair.
the money
I feel like if we could know what the film is about, that might be a good start to become a little bit less chaotic.
Great.
What are you talking about? Okay.
We barely got through introductions, Jill. You know how this goes. It's been 15 minutes.
Yeah, good. Congratulations. You've done it better than we did.
I have no
Yeah.
name on the screen.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, you are Lady in Green. Okay. In Prentice Town, Todd has been brought up to believe that the spackle released a germ that killed all the women and unleashed noise on the remaining men. After discovering a patch of silence out in the swamp, his surrogate parents immediately tell him that he has to run, leaving him with only a map of new. What the fuck? This is not the synopsis of this film. It is, but
Basically the synopsis.
leaving him with only a map of New World, a message, and many unanswered questions. He soon discovers the source of the silence, a girl named Viola. That's a
No,
shit
this is a book.
synopsis.
That is a book synopsis.
That is a
No,
synopsis based
it says
off
it's
the
the
trailer.
film synopsis.
That is
film synopsis.
then that is the internet is wrong and is lying to you, and obviously you need to go back and do a refresher course on basic internet 101.
Definitely not the synopsis.
It's
It's part
definitely
of the
not the film.
synopsis.
Yeah. It's like that ain't it. The chat's like, nope, that's not
Anyone
what
want
it
to
is.
have another go?
You do, obviously, Pete. Go for it.
I'm going to synopsize this film off the top of my head because
Yes.
I
It's
did
got to be
watch
better
it.
than what I just did.
Please do.
Well, it's,
Well, we actually watched it, so
So did I.
not the people that wrote the synopsis.
No.
that was about right. It just felt like it was all from the wrong perspective and with a lot of details that weren't in the actual film. Basically, there's a new world with settlers from Earth, and when they arrived, they discovered that all of the men's thoughts were just noise for everyone to hear, and not all of the women. Now there are no women, and girl crashes in a spaceship. Start story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yep.
that's
That's about it.
Yes, and as Predakenga says, also spack filler aliens.
Back filler.
yeah,
also
yeah.
back filler aliens, but they don't really have much to do with anything. So let's just glide
You know-
over that in the synopsizing of the film.
And I would
In
li-
much the same way as the film did.
and I would like to. Did anyone here read the book out of curiosity?
I didn't even know it was a book.
Right.
Mm.
Anyone else know? Haven't read the book? No.
In anyone in the chat, because it is apparently a very popular YA book series.
Yes, I definitely had a brief conversation with someone who had occasionally read one or three of the books and said it was fine, and then I glossed over the rest of what he said. So that makes
Wow.
perfect sense.
Well,
That's
I
your life normally, Dion. Just tune out.
Yeah, it true. Oh my God!
It's
Sorry, there is also
interesting to me that it's a book.
What?
Particularly a YA sci-fi book, because I love a YA sci-fi
Mm.
book myself. And it sounds like the kind of book that you would kind of read and think, if this was a movie, how would they do it? I feel like it just might be better on the page as a concept than on the screen, and maybe some things should stay on the page. and not, in the nicest possible way. This could be a very good series of books. It's an interesting premise.
Yeah. And this is what a lot of people have said, that the books are an interesting and really well written series that is like, I've talked to the same person you talked to, Dion, who enjoyed the book, but also
Did you listen for the rest of the conversation? Because I tuned out.
Yeah, no, I was there for some of it, but he was Spanish, so I just stopped listening.
That's not very that's not very picante of you.
No.
Quinny.
He's one of our people that we work with, and he is amazing and lovely and wonderful, and absolutely loved the books, and was A, dumbfounded that there was a film that he hadn't heard of, and B, very disappointed and surprised because these were for a long time considered to basically be unfilmable. And if this is anything to go by, maybe it was.
Well, look, lots of things are considered unfilmable. I thought you could never make Jurassic Park into a film. You think you could never make, what was that other one? The Lion King into a film. Eventually technology catches up.
What are you talking about?
What?
Not sure on that second one.
But I mean, I see where this is also, it came out in like 2008, 2010, the books, not the film. And I can understand how that may have been lost for a bunch of people because, what else was coming around about that time? It was wrapping up the Harry Potter books, which were just destroying everyone else's publishing dreams along that time, which is fair enough. It was also young adult kind of fiction. But I think the thing that was kind of got me interested with the explanation of talking to the person who'd read the books was that it was full of very interesting ideas, and I absolutely had to agree with that. And doing a little bit more reading about the books, and then comparing that to the film, I have opinions. But yes, the ideas presented in the books is amazing.
And it's also always the problem with film adaptations, right? And particularly feature film adaptations where you try to squish a book into 90 minutes. I feel like the same thing happened with The Golden Compass when they tried to make that a feature film, because you just can't take material like that and smush it into 90 minutes and keep the layers and layers of meaning that were part of that series. And these days when we're series are so highly regarded and so big budget, it's nice to see that a lot of things that were smushed into movies like The Golden Compass explored and given the time that they need. So I don't want to step on this completely, because it does kind of feel like that there is interesting source material that might have been lost in this translation.
But also there are things that, you're trying to find a way to actually translate to the screen that are potentially, they're like so many books, you can do a thing in a book that says person can, has a cloud of their words and their thoughts hanging around their head, and their thoughts become visible to people and stuff like that. And you can describe that in a book and it's a cool idea. When you try and turn it into a special effect, it turns into a weird, shitty purple cloud that is just floating around their heads and, is kind of weird looking and goofy.
I thought it was pretty well done.
See, I didn't think that the noise was the bad special effect. I thought everything else was.
Do you know what the worst special effect in this was? The wigs. The wigs were the worst special effect in this film.
You know what the worst special effect was? Mads Mikkelsen trying to look like a pimp.
That fur jacket.
Oh man, like I kind of like my quick review of this entire film. It is like going out to a fancy restaurant which has all of the things you want to eat, and when you do your order and everything's lovely, and you sit there and you have the meal, you're like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's supposed to be lovely. You've got a dry aged steak over there. You've got beautiful wine. Everything's the decor is amazing. All the servers are lovely, and it's like, oh, this is going to be amazing. And then you're eating. You're like, what the fuck is this? It's terrible. Why did you serve me dessert to start?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No.
Maybe if we can see your thoughts.
I'll just go.
didn't mind the
kind of
depiction of
liked the
that.
movie.
Hmm.
I didn't think that the noise looked stupid.
I always used to think one of my favourite book series growing up was Ober Newton by Isabel Carmody, and I always used to, because my head was always also in films, think, if you ever made a film of this, how would you do these things in terms of so much of that storyline, is in telepathy and beast speaking and all of that kind of thing. I don't think this was a terrible visual representation of the concept. Didn't mind it.
No.
Neither did I.
I mean, I thought it was good. Like they had like two kind of distinct things. It's almost like a visualization of an aura.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, it reminds me of synesthesia, the way that some people communicate that they're experiencing colors and stuff. So, thoughts and emotions that have no structure are just kind of wispy, vapory colored things, like, red is anger. And then they can coalesce into imagery. And that is an interesting concept that they did. And some people are good at hiding it or
using it as a weapon.
Or using it. And
I quite like the idea of people using their thoughts as a way to manipulate others. That was really strong concept, that you can actually train those thoughts to become a stronger visual.
Yeah, and almost an aggressive thing, like Mads, who at one point manages to make an entire sort of wall around somebody out of his thoughts because his thoughts are that strong. But then there were other elements that I was like, okay, so some characters were completely silent, and I was like, so do you not?
So you're not thinking?
Yeah, like the one of the dads, Ben, I think it was. Like, I'm guessing that he was meant to be super powerful in his ability to control his thoughts because he was silent pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
Apart from when later on he could do something really impressive with it. And you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting to me, because I think, how often do I have a blank mind? And am I actually thinking about stuff that I'm not thinking about? Like,
So when I was little, I had a very active imagination, and I used to sometimes imagine and think what if everybody can hear my thoughts, but nobody will tell me, kind of like a Truman Show kind of situation. And I'd get myself into a real kind of loop of oh, don't think that. Oh God, don't think that. And it is kind of well represented in the film what you would be thinking if you were trying not to think of something because people could hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
I know what I'm thinking of.
So just to go back on something, I realized one other thing that came out in 2008 that may have overshadowed this a little bit: the Hunger Games.
Oh, hi. Okay.
Yeah. So in terms of YA fantasy, do you really want to come out with that one?
It's
Probably
saturated.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I can see here when you look more into the books. The books were praised when they came out for praise for the handling of themes such as gender politics, redemption, meaning of war, distinctions between good and evil, and a very fast-paced and complex narrative. And I could see some of the building blocks of that kind of in there. I was confused by a few things, and I had to go back and do some reading about other stuff that was in there, and I was like, wow, they got rid of they fucking Tom Bombadil the whole a whole character, just no, just gonna remove that kind of thing.
Which character?
Yeah.
I will get into that in spoilers, because then that actually gives away some of the
Okay.
stuff.
Right.
So I
will
was going to say that I don't
Oh.
think it was an extremely complex story in the movie. They definitely have, as Dion said, knocked out quite a lot of stuff to simplify it, and I don't know if that made it stronger.
I think what ended up with me not being hooked is that it's such a interesting premise, and they had such a great cast, and there was so little character development. And so you kind of get to the end feeling a little bit flat on the journey.
Well,
the
honestly,
character
felt like they're opening it up for a sequel. The way
that they
it
may
ended.
never get.
Well, I don't think
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think
sad.
I don't think they are going to get it because it was considered an absolute fucking dog of a film, and it was a write down for Lionsgate, as in
Oh.
yeah. So
But the character that I think got probably shortchanged the worst out of the whole thing is Daisy Ridley's character, Viola.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
for a film where you've got a thing that is meant to be about perhaps sexual politics and the place of women in a society and everything, she's the one who talks the least and has probably the least agency, it feels, through most of the
He
fucking film.
is honestly a plot device for people to find out what's actually going on in their town.
Yeah.
She had absolutely nothing to do except lead the story
Oh,
for
no.
a different character.
Silently.
an orphan space girl.
Yeah.
How are you going to play that, Daisy?
I love that she was actually perfectly capable of looking after herself, and yet, like, Todd's entire purpose for the whole movie was to, like, protect the girl. And she's like, no, I'm fine. I've got my space stuff.
Yeah. You're like, I have technology and education.
And he's just kind of
And
following
no
her
noise.
around like a love-struck teenager, which is basically what he
Well, it kind of was. Yeah,
And also in
Like
the
a
books, he's
puppy dog.
13. Like,
Oh,
yeah, somebody said the casting was great, and I'm like, he's 13 in the books.
And how old
yeah,
was
that changes things again.
how old was
Yeah.
Viola in the books?
Makes it kind of weird and creepy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was actually surprised they didn't lean into a little bit of what I think men really would have been thinking about most of the time. Like that could have,
mean,
especially a
little
teenage
bit.
boy.
Yeah, they touched on it. I mean, I
Yeah,
think
well,
He didn't though.
it's just like-
a boy that was, raised without any women, I think, he's probably a little bit naive in what happens between a man and a woman. So he
Probably
doesn't
doesn't even know what to imagine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
he
Like
doesn't
there's
know
a
what it's
face and then
about.
a neck and then just a
Just
whole
obsessed with the
bunch of-
hair.
yeah.
Yeah.
He really was. Yeah.
yeah. Just, and
Yeah, that was kind of cute.
not changing
actually.
not changing his clothes and just going between wet and dry constantly. It was like,
That, but also like I like the fact that he's willing to just strip completely naked to go and kill something in the water,
Yeah.
but then has a bath fully clothed. And you're like,
Yeah, well, he had
Okay.
to wash the clothes at the same time. That was the point, I think.
Totally makes
Yeah.
sense.
But also, he's screaming for a fungal infection.
yes. I think everyone's
Dry your
screaming.
clothes off your body.
yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And with the whole society of men, you're wondering whether they have those talks of like, no, you've actually got to clean every bit of
Yes. Do you have poor hygiene? Welcome to Man Planet.
yeah. Wow. Sorry, I can't think of
Oh,
anyone
dear.
worse.
No, I kind of got reminded of that Rick and Morty episode where it was like the planet where the two genders were separated and the women lived in a utopian underground society and the men were allowed to play outside. And
Love
they
to
were
talk
just
about that.
they were
I'm
just
here if you want
giant.
to talk.
Yeah. But they were just giant, terrible, beastie things that, went crazy a little bit. It was kind of funny. Anyway.
Did we like the alien or the
Spackle?
things that were actually
The
native
spackle.
to the planet?
What was the fucking point of that?
Exactly.
They didn't even need to be in the story, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, in
No,
the
they
books,
look like-
Device.
Yeah, they look like Harry Potter Dementors without a cloak, though.
But also then, there was a bit of like, are they, natives? Do they like there's some markings and war paint and stuff on them, and you're like,
Yeah.
maybe there's a thing that we're going to nah, okay, cool.
No.
yeah.
Sweet, it's gone. Yep.
Yeah. You
I would
literally
probably-
see one and that's it.
Mm.
If this was a series on the
Mm.
CW, I would probably watch it. Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You're
agree with
talking to
you.
somebody who's watched 6 seasons of The 100. Like, I am not averse to average young adult science fiction. It just doesn't feel like it's got a good run in this short a period of time.
I think it's very much like The Golden Compass. Like, The Golden Compass as a film failed miserably, was a fucking mess. As a series, his Dark Materials, it's now into season 3,
Yeah.
and is picking up steam, and people are absolutely loving it. So
Yeah.
maybe this does work best as long form drama, where you've got time with the characters, and
I think this one was very much a 3-movie deal because of how it was kind of written out. It's a 3-book deal. But yeah, as you were saying, the Spackle has a whole thing in the books, as I didn't know until I did a little bit of research. They were like, yeah, that's what I said. They kind of Tom Bombadil the fuck out of the Spackle by having that alien character, or native, actually, as I want to say, the native character just turn up to serve no purpose apart from fighting Tom Holland for a little bit and then wandering off. Like,
so I'm guessing that in the book he's actually a ongoing character who has more to do.
And I'm no expert in the books or anything like this, but there's some interesting things that I found out about this, which is the whole noise thing that affects only males. In it also allows it's for everything. It affects every animal on the planet, including pets, horses, and the native population. And you can read what things are thinking at any given time. So
that's cool.
Whereas you might
that's
not,
a hell of a lot more.
Whereas you might not be able to understand them because they may have an alien thought. Like, this is the whole thing between the kind of different colors and emotions. So you can tell what something is feeling straight away because you can't hide it, and that's what unless they, when they hide it, which is kind of like apparently in the book, he has conversations with his dog because he can understand what his dog's thinking. Because he just kind of goes, dog hungry, okay, I get you some food, like dog happy or dog sad or dog scared.
See, it would have been so much better to have all of this nuance in the film, and it just wasn't there. Yeah. They stripped it clean. They picked it clean and just put in these bare blocks and just said, here, have a movie.
Tried to make it like, be a man, be a man. It's like, well, I mean, gender politics aside, there's a lot more going on with this. Or could have gone on with this, and it's hard to like push that in, not know which direction you want to go. And it seems like they just kind of pointed at that one and was like, "Yeah, let's talk about being a man."
And that bugged me because it was also never explored.
Yeah, exactly.
It kept coming up as the thing that he would keep telling himself, and I get the setup of that is that he's grown up in this very toxically masculine environment, and that's what he thinks he has to do. But then they never take it to the next level.
No, it's like, why not explore the whole culture of masculinity in this world where there are no women, and like what the point is of saying be a man, be a man.
Did it not seem kind of weird?
Why be a man?
Did it not seem kind of weird
else
that
to be.
In town, in Prentice Town, the place where he lived, that was a very big plot narrative device, like as in everyone was judging you in that town, you had to be a man. Yet he came from what I would consider a very loving home with two really great dads who...
He was a shit of a kid to them too.
Yeah, he was a real prick. You're just like, do your fucking work, dude.
Yeah.
I hate beats. Like, you want to put the food in your mouth? Jesus Christ, the kids these days.
I'm out there in the fields making beats all day. But, I also like the fact he was a kid who grew up with it constantly. So he would forget whether or not he had an internal or an external monologue. And he had to be reminded of it. Like, these are the things. There's like interesting nuances in the portrayals that I was like, there's great stuff to be mined out of it. And it just wasn't handled well.
No, and simplified down to a point where you're like, oh, okay, so this is the most obvious version of the story. We're waiting. We get from A to B. There we find out a plot point, get from B to C, another plot point, end of movie. Thanks, cool, great. And I was like,
it really was just like wham bam, thank you, man, done.
And I mean, I don't know whether it being another hour longer would have helped at all, because I mean, one of the things that I actually thought it looked kind of tedious too. Like, wasn't shot in an interesting way that made me think, oh, that's beautiful, or that has grandeur or scope or anything. I was kind of like, oh, okay. It felt a bit CW. Yeah, well, and if it was on the CW, I would have watched it too.
Generic Canadian forest.
Yeah.
COVID safe.
Although I think it was filmed in Georgia. I don't know.
Was it?
Oh, quote me on that.
Everything's filmed in Georgia now.
Yeah, exactly. Georgia or Vancouver.
See, and I like the idea of this. I think in the book, where they talk about and the synopsis that wasn't a synopsis, on a scale of 1 to synopsis, this was where they're talking about a hole in the noise. I think that's an interesting concept, that women in this particular world are quiet patches, if there are animals and birds and stuff like that, and they've all got their own noise, then women who don't have noise would be these sort of little patches of quiet. And I think that's really interesting. And if you could explain that in a movie, that would be cool. But that's not what we got.
Interesting things just about a quick bit on the timeline. This actually helps me understand it a bit better. It actually started filming in 2017.
Yeah.
In Canada.
It's had a very, very troubled
and then it had to stop filming so that Daisy Ridley could go off to do Star Wars and Tom Holland could do Far From Home, and then came back for reshoots because the initial screenings were people going, oh no, this is terrible.
Oh no, so now both Daisy Ridley and Tom Holland are kind of like big names, and they're like, ooh, let's get that weird little sci-fi just before.
Well, I mean, Tom Holland already had, what was his other one? What was the first one? Homecoming. He'd already done Homecoming.
Oh,
and
that's
Daisy
right.
Ridley was already an established Star Wars veteran by this stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like saying Mark Hamill wasn't famous till he did Return of the Jedi.
I find the cast odd because it is such a good cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it should draw a crowd.
Yeah.
Like, they're the kind of names you put on a marquee and people go, oh, shit, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's why they made Tom Holland take his shirt off at every opportunity.
and Beck, who is Tom Holland's wife, I'm sure she had, she had to approve the naked scene where we see what I'm going to assume is a body double. I don't know. Maybe it was his ass. Who knows?
I mean, look, off the back of that, did we want to give it some numbers? Because there are probably a couple of little spoilery things that we could.
Yeah, I think
there are a couple of things I want to say that I can't say.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to write down some numbers
Who wants to go first? Jill, you're the lady in green. Last in, first out. That's what we got.
I'm going to give it 55.
Oh,
okay.
Because I didn't dislike it, but I mean, there just could have been more. You could have given us more, like
more naked Tom Holland, more Mads Mikkelsen in a pimp jacket.
Yeah, I wanted to see more Pimp Mads, but
more of Daisy Ridley's really shit blonde wig.
I would like more of David Ayoade. No, not Ayoade.
Who?
Oh, the guy that was the preacher?
Yeah, and I'm sorry I bugged up his name, which is really embarrassing because I wanted to know about him, but sorry, Oyelowo, thank you. Sorry.
Interesting character.
Yeah, see, there were so many like little details that these characters were portraying, but they just like were not getting enough story time.
Well, it ends up caricaturish, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the angry preacher that hates women.
Right. So it's like, okay, but why? And then there was all this other stuff, but why? And also, we never got to see but why stuff.
It had a Jonas brother in it, you know.
Oh my God. Yeah, I know. And like Nick is probably the best looking Jonas brother, but he didn't have much to do.
No. And every time that he shows up on screen, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, Dad. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. No, I don't buy that your dad's Mads Mikkelsen either. Yeah, I didn't hate it, but it wasn't revolutionary. So 55 from me.
Okay. Dion.
I would have started with a solid 60 because like it looked fine. Like there was no problem. I didn't have any problem, as I said, with the noise effect or all of the sorts of things. I was watching it going, yeah, this is all pretty solid. Bit telly movie, but then just kept dropping bits off where I was like, this is just terrible, and I kind of got down to like about 40. So Chaos Walking, it's not great. Can't recommend. Even as a simplistic story, it's like it missed so many opportunities. I even knock another one off. 35. No, it wasn't good. It had so much potential, and it was just in the end terrible. But it's still better than Thunder Force, which was that other option for this week. And that is a fucking terrible movie. I'd rather watch Adam Sandler. Yeah, that's my quick review.
Good, thank you.
35.
35 from
Thunder
Dion.
Force is a solid 5.
Ooh, okay, I'll just whack that in, shall I?
The alternate.
Okay, Peter.
I mean, I didn't bother to finish watching Thunder Force, so
Right.
I can't give that one a number.
Well,
I'm
you
going to say
can-
50,
Oh.
which is me just being perfectly ambivalent.
Fucking fence sitter.
I'm not gonna. There was some good things about it. There's some interesting things about the concept. I didn't really like it. I don't have strong feelings of hate for it. I wouldn't recommend anyone watch it. And I would say a hard no for anybody who has any kind of sensitivity to animal cruelty.
Ooh.
Just because there's some
Oh.
shit in this that was like, that's fucking
Yeah,
unnecessary.
there were a
guys.
few moments.
Yeah,
We'll talk about that in the
Bridge and
spoiler
some
town.
stuff, but yeah.
we'll come back on that one.
But as a warning, like that's,
Yeah.
just in case that's a sensitivity for you, definitely don't check this movie out.
Sure.
I agree. And look, I'm going to go 40. I really just found myself going, okay, cool, whatever. Oh, good, there's an alien. Cool, whatever. And as I went on, I started to get really annoyed at how little Daisy Ridley's character Viola had to do. And I was like, fuck you. Like, this is meant to be a film that is about, the difference between men and women and the way that men think and the way that men interact with each other. And you've put a woman on screen and then made her fucking silent. That actually started to really piss me off.
She gave a great what the fuck face though to every man's thoughts. Just like,
But also, like, don't even get me started on how they're handling the whole binary of the thing either. Like, because they never explain what it is about being a man that makes you susceptible to the noise either. So that was like a whole other issue that I was thinking while I was watching that film as well. Like, yes, very binary.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe that's explored in the books too. I don't know.
Maybe. And one thing I will say is that I do now kind of want to read the books because I've heard enough people who I respect and trust their writing. Like one of my favorite movie reviewers, Simon Mayo, is a young adult author as well as a film reviewer. And he thinks that the books by Patrick Ness are fucking like top of the pops, amazing. And was just heartbroken that this film was so just pedestrian. And I think that's the biggest crime it has. It's fucking pedestrian. It doesn't try anything weird. It doesn't really shoot for the moon in terms of anything impressive other than Mad Mikkelsen's fucking pimp coat. That is the only thing that
really is the best description for it. Pedestrian.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yes,
All right.
and we've got a few other ratings in the chat. Thank you very much, Predakenga. Thank you, Amiable.
Yes. Well, I think it's time for a clip, and then we'll come
Yes.
back and talk about the rest of this a bit more spoilery town. But yeah, let's have a look at a really interesting interaction between Viola and what's his name? Todd Hewitt.
Todd Hewitt.
I'm Todd Hewitt.
Todd Hewitt.
I shouldn't have kissed the girl. I shouldn't have kissed. It reminds me a bit of Rain Man.
Sorry, all I can imagine now is that like in this world, memes and shit like that must be the most annoying fucking thing in the world.
Yeah,
fuck, shut up about fucking the Zemo dancing. I can see it all the time. Zemo has been dancing in your head for the past fucking 24 hours, Todd. Shut up.
True. Oh, goodness gravy. It's been a tough run at the cinema. I mean, what do we get? We got giant monkey versus big lizard. Fine.
Which I was down with.
I can turn my brain off for that. And then we get something like this, which was like, what? What is this? I thought it would be good, and then it wasn't. Other stuff. It's been a lean time, although not to say that television has been good. So it's not like there hasn't been anything on.
No.
It's just we didn't have time to do a whole TV deep dive.
Yeah. And look, because there's only so many hours in the week. Okay, so we're in our spoiler section.
Oh, shit.
maybe-
Sorry.
I was going to say
Sorry.
you might want to put that thing up, so
Fuck
you know,
off,
that you
forget
know.
about this. But now it's there. It's over Peter's face. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. She's the
I
spoiler
feel
now.
like I would have liked this movie much better if Todd's entire character arc hadn't just been animals and people getting fridged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was basically his whole arc.
Yeah. Somebody I like gets killed.
Yeah, but also the fucking horse. Like,
Oh, man.
Jesus, what?
Yeah. It
My
was
only thought with that one is if everybody had the noise, that scene would have been fucking horrific. Like if the
Yeah.
horse is screaming, and the dog is screaming while it's, terrible things are happening to it, that makes it horrific, but also perhaps more impactful. I don't know. Not that I
Sure.
needed the dog to be any more fucking
Don't
impactful.
need more like that. You didn't need them at all.
No.
It had no purpose in the plot.
You can tell a story without animal cruelty. The same way you can tell a story without rape. Like all of these bullshit things that people like to put in to be controversial, you don't need them in stories to tell a good story.
Though I could imagine if there, and I agree, sorry, this is not me undercutting you, but I could imagine that in a book where, there is the idea of everybody having the noise, a scene like that where you are doing something to a dog or whatever could have massive impact. Like, because you're seeing, what happens to a non-human character. And that's the sort of thing that could be really, really fucking upsetting. Whereas in a film, it feels really gratuitous and
Yeah.
like, and the horse and everything is just like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, I got to say the only thing that, saved it was that there were no thoughts of, people thinking about assaulting Viola.
Yeah, actually.
Because it very quickly could have gone that way. And I'm glad that was something that they didn't decide to include.
I mean, Todd thought about pushing her over.
Yeah, I know, but like, you know what I mean, Peter.
I mean, it felt a little weird that they had this completely masculine society where everyone, if they weren't silent, they would just ended up chanting the same shit so that they were all on the same page kind of thing. And it had this whole background story of like, let's make sure that we're all like our wills can control. Like if you have this thing between what's his name, Prentice, with his town, which is if your will is strong enough, you can control other things. And while it was kind of explained in the end, it was just like everyone was fucking terrified of letting him see their thoughts, and that was what he was using to control. He wasn't some sort of grand fucking master visionary or anything. They were just terrified that he would use their thoughts against them, which just made it very, very weird. Again, you see a lot that you could strip mine, but then it just went straight for this boring narrative following, a kid and a girl running away for a whole film.
Yeah.
Till they got to
as somebody
technology.
said sorry?
Till they got to technology.
Yeah. And as somebody said in the chat, there were like the potential for if there were people who didn't have the noise, for that to have been somebody who was non-binary or whatever, would have been real interesting. If, your ability to control your own noise was a thing that seemed, super important or a big part of the plot, also would have been interesting. But I don't know, it just seemed like it didn't have much internal consistency.
Do we not just get like that immediately straight away for it, where they were like, all the women were killed in the war? And I'm like, yeah, I don't think so, buddy. I think you wake up one day and all the men's thoughts were out there and all the women were like, holy shit, we can see your thoughts. We need to get out of here. And then they ended up murdering them because that was just easier than admitting that they were bad people.
Yeah.
It would have been more believable that they decided to leave on their own accord and not have to put up with all that bullshit every day.
If they left from Prentice Town and went to another town.
Yeah, exactly.
And they were like, yeah, we used to live there and it's fucked.
But then when they get to the other town, I like that the other towns are like, oh, you're from fucking Prentice Town? You guys are fucked.
Yeah, it's like, we know what you did.
Yeah.
Just like a nice not all men thread, I guess. But yeah, just none of it's been explored at all.
No.
I mean, I like the little bit of exploration they had when, they make the men sleep in their own dormitory because they just do not shut the fuck up at night.
That guy that just dreams of baseball.
Yeah, that dreams of baseball. It's like, okay, that's kind of weird, but sure.
And it was really fucking noisy too.
And it's so weird because I once it gets into this whole exploration when they move out of the Prentice Town thing and they get away, you get to this planet that they're colonizing, that there is a native, like an indigenous population, but they don't discuss that at all. But you can see that they're actually building infrastructure. Like there was a whole works of this. Like
they're in the process of building, and this is what I don't understand. Like they're in the process of building a gigantic fucking monorail system. There is a very big built-up fucking city, a ways away. And so it just so happens that she lands in the one fucking backwards hick town that.
I mean, that's okay. That's an acceptable plot device. That just kicks things off, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you've landed in the village from the village.
She did crash land. Like, I don't think that was planned.
True.
Yeah, I mean,
only by the writers.
I do love that we don't explore at all the idea of the colonial aspect of like there's obviously an intelligent peoples already populating this planet.
Yeah, and humans just
Don't
turned up
explore
and
that at all.
do. No, we're fine. It's like this is just.
So,
apparently
do
that
we
happens in
know
the book.
whether in the books the spackle play a bigger role?
Yes.
Dion, you were saying
From my
there is a
limited
character Tom
understanding,
Bombadil the fuck out.
Yeah,
so,
that alien creature is because they do the same thing. Like the spackle came and there was a war with them because they're fighting us and they're basically bad and they keep trying to. And it's like, yeah, wouldn't you organize and rebel against aliens coming into your planet? Sure. Because they're not very evolved in that sort of sense, because they are kind of I hesitate to say Stone Age, but they're just not as technologically advanced. But
I don't know. Their village looked pretty advanced.
Yeah, like it is kind of
nice.
but it's not as advanced as humans. And in the books, it goes on basically like the civil war of that and trying to live peaceably together. Because I think that happens in the books, and don't quote me on it, but that he does let one of them go, and then it starts a whole thing that they meet up again and they trying to stop the wars that are happening between these settlements because the indigenous population's
I'm just
like
through the synopsis of the actual book, and like they believe the spackle are all dead, all killed in the war. So this one survivor is like, oh shit, hang on.
So they've landed, committed genocide.
Yep.
They killed all the women.
Because they're
So
colonials.
like every other colony in history.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, look at the colonial history. It's rife for material, and hopefully that's where they got it from. It's like, yes, we're going to the new world. There's nothing here, and no one lives here apart from some people, but we got rid of them. But they were very idiots, and we got rid of them. And now all of the women seem unhappy with what we're doing. So
sorry, I'm also just reading about the book here. So there's a thing that the boys are supposed to learn a version of the truth from the mayor on their 13th birthday. And this is why in the books, Todd's parents are trying to get him out of the town. They're trying to like squirrel him away before he turns 13, so that he can live a better life. But when they turn 13, they get told a version of the truth, and that's when they tend to just become kind of dicks.
Yeah,
so there's this whole thing of
it's almost like it's a men cult.
Yeah.
And nothing's ever gone bad when a man's in charge of a cult.
Yeah. and that whole thing of when you turn 13 is when you're becoming a man. So that whole thing of be a man is tied to a certain age and so it's a coming of age ceremony.
Yeah.
Which
look,
I think kind of makes a little more sense in that whole idea that you're saying, oh, I've got to be a man, because
lots of things
there's a time frame on it.
Lots of things to dig through, like a whole bunch of interesting stuff that's in there, and yet they just kind of gloss over it. And then by the end of the film, when Viola's ship has landed, and they've decided to set up shop on this planet, which has a very interesting kind of thing that they didn't know about when the colonists were turning up. Can you imagine thousands of people turning up? And even if it is a 50-50 split, that's 500 people who can no longer keep their thoughts to themselves. That would require a whole bunch of fucking effort. And if I was like on that ship waiting, should we land here? No. No. Keep moving.
But also there is that moment where they do come in for the crash landing, and I'm not entirely sure why they crash land, but there is some indication that it's because the dudes on the ship suddenly go, oh God, I can see my own thoughts.
Yeah, so they obviously didn't know about this. For some reason that the colonizers have not contacted the home planet in any way to let them know, like, and then how do they know that they need to send a second wave? Like, it's all very... There are some holes in how it's been presented in the film.
Well, they did that. They knew that already. They sent them in waves because they already left. It took 3 generations to fly the ship that Viola was on in order. Like, her grandparents set out on the voyage to get there to this place. Understandable. But including the fact they also had cryosleep. Like, I mean, what the fuck is going on? Like, I don't understand.
I also like that they put their horses in cryosleep.
Yeah, you can put horses in cryosleep for the entire journey, but when it comes to humans, you've got to be generational. Like, I mean, I'm confused. Where's my science fiction?
Yeah.
It
does have that problem, doesn't it? Of is, lacking internal logic.
Just give us 5 minutes of exposition at the start and to build the world, and then go. Like, we just got absolutely nothing.
No, we can see Tom Holland's thoughts. And it's adorable.
We got a 2-sentence opening that was like, the noise is men's thoughts, and it is now described as chaos walking. Like, that was our exposition.
Unknown settler. Like, they're not even going to attribute it to it.
That's not even a quote from an actual person. It's just some settler.
And from what I can tell, the in the books, the noise is actually a germ. Yeah.
Okay.
Which...
See, it looks like an aura around the whole planet.
But yeah, you know what? I have a feeling I'm going to go and read some book.
Yeah,
really?
It sounds like it.
You don't just want to leave with the information that you've digested from this film? Because, I mean, I was completely happy with watching The Watch and never reading any Terry Pratchett books about the guards of Ankh-Morpork.
But now you have.
Yeah, I know.
I'm reading Guards.
It's much better, isn't it? The Watch is... Now I understand that level of anger and vitriol that come out of that. I was like, oh my God, what did they do to this show?
Yeah.
And much
I'm
like
so
anyone,
glad that you understand now the theory that
and
we
much
felt.
like anyone who loved the Chaos Walking books, do not watch this film. You will just be angry.
I would very much, or just horrifically disappointed.
Well, I mean,
which tends to turn into anger. Eventually.
Do you know what would be interesting? It would be actually interesting watching a bunch of people who read the books and love the books sit and watch this film, but have the noise.
They'd just be like, well, that's wrong.
They'd just be like, they'd end up just being like the preacher, just burn it all, burn it all. Again, interesting character. The preacher was great, and then by the end, you're like, wow, he's just trying to commit suicide. What the fuck?
Yeah. Especially after doing that to the dog, and you're like, what's your point, man?
But why?
Served no purpose in the plot.
It's
to make Tom Holland sad.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, well, I mean, I was a bit sad too. I loved Manchu.
Because he was hungry.
What a cool dog. Also, he can wrestle fucking Dianogas and stuff. What's Tom Holland scared about? Like, that was kind of fun. It's like, what?
That whole thing with him wrestling the snake or the whatever the fuck it was.
If that wasn't a metaphor for growing up on that planet, come on.
Wrestling a snake and stabbing it a lot.
Yes. I'm gonna strip naked.
Is that what the kids call it these days?
I'm gonna strip naked, get wet, and wrestle my snake. Okay, no problem, Tom Holland. You do that.
Pretty sure I read that book when I was young.
Dude,
and that thing, which scales are the poisonous ones again? Was he being funny, or was he?
I don't know.
Maybe
I love that
was.
his thoughts are, "I'm going to choke and die on this." Oh, it's fantastic! It's actually not that bad. Here, try it.
Which is
man.
fun. Like, I mean, there's heaps of little bits in there that shows that you can manipulate things. But was it used that way? No. In the end, it was just Mads Mikkelsen was a pimp who still didn't get it right,
Yeah.
and just ended up falling into a pit. I mean, come on. If there's ever a reason for the
He's such a cliche bad character, which
Isn't
is
it- isn't
really
that like-
disappointing for Mads.
wasn't it
And
like
also,
the
once again,
Shredder
looking
ending?
at the book, by the looks of it, by the end of the book, you realize, or the end of the first book, you realize that the mayor of the town, you can't hear his noise. So there is some kind of mystery to him, and maybe there is something else going on. And you're like, okay, that's more interesting, but
Yeah.
none of that. We don't get any of that.
Very cut and dry.
Can you go read the books and report back?
Okay, I will.
Yes.
I'll probably listen to an audiobook.
And let
of
me
it.
know if there's a description
That's
of,
just reading with your ears.
Yes, I know.
Daisy Ridley's orange jumpsuit for some reason.
Fuck, that annoyed me.
Yeah. Also, the place is green. They would have found her in about 3 seconds. They're not blind. Like,
And to the point where, like, they kept her in that stupid orange jumpsuit, but even though she's wearing a flannel,
oh,
like, here's some comfortable things, but you keep your pants.
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe there was nothing in her size. Who knows?
Well,
Lilu Dallas
true.
multipass. Off she goes. She's
She's
a science fiction woman.
Yeah.
Science fiction.
Oh, look.
I don't think there's any more I can say about Chaos Walking. It was chaotic, and I'm happy to walk away from it.
Yeah. And it's not chaos wanking.
Goodbye. That's just the town after 6 p.m. Prentice Town.
Just chaos wanking.
It's the loudest town in the world.
Oh no.
Yeah, you can hear it from 4 kilometers away. There's just this aura over the town. You're like, oh, don't go to Prentice Town.
Nobody goes to Prentice Town
Goes to
because Jesus
Prentice
Christ,
Town.
after nightfall. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, let's just say they're not dreaming about baseball over there.
It's like a million voices cried out all at once.
And then slept comfortably.
Yeah, it's only silent after. Wow. Wow, we've lowered the tone, and I didn't think that was possible.
Happy tone lowering. What are we going to do next week?
I did ask before.
Ah, I know. I did ask too.
I'm going to suggest, and we haven't discussed this in full, but I think if we can, Invincible.
that?
The animated series.
I was waiting for the
Oh,
punchline. I was like,
okay.
Invincible what?
It's just called Invincible. It's a new animated series based on the comic books by Robert Kirkman. It's on Amazon.
Amazon Prime.
Yes.
And it
Amazon
is an
Prime.
adult-oriented superhero cartoon.
Yes, very
Yeah.
much so, and very well worth a look.
Are there any zombies in it?
No, he doesn't do
No.
zombies. Just did that one
No
zombie
zombies
thing.
in this one.
No zombies
No.
in that one. Although I am hopefully looking forward to the. We've got a few things coming up. Like there's a few bits that we haven't touched on. I know that there's the Irregulars, which is something from Netflix, which deals with what is it? Sherlock Holmes's street urchin gang who help him solve crimes. If you know your history of the Irregulars. And also the
Baker Street Regulars.
Yes, this month is also a fun one because Mortal Kombat is finally coming out, and I'm fucking excited. And
You're excited.
yeah, I know. And Peter, I know you're gonna hate me, but have you seen the Mortal Kombat films, like 1 and
I
2?
have zero care for Mortal Kombat. I'm sorry.
Can you please, like, just please watch Mortal Kombat? Just okay, yeah. I just need you. Yeah.
Really?
And also, yeah, as
Okay.
Casper has pointed out, you have to say it with an exclamation mark.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat. Yeah, and listen to the music. You know, that's kind of what it is. Jill, you've seen Mortal Kombat, haven't you?
No, I've
Oh,
seen
fuck's
Street
sake.
Fighter.
What?
The other
Basically
one.
the same thing,
I'm
right?
out.
No,
Peter, don't
Mortal
say
Kombat.
It. It's not.
No, Mortal Kombat is not the same as Street
It's
Fighter.
not, it's not.
First, it's a distinct lack of Kylie Minogue, and Street Fighter has
And
Jean-Claude
Jean-Paul.
Van Damme, and Mortal Kombat only had a euphemistically appointed Jean-Claude Van Damme called Johnny Cage, which is one of the reasons they can't have him. Yeah, anyway, yeah. So when they made the Mortal Kombat game, they based one of the fighters on Jean-Claude Van Damme and even gave him a nut punch from the film Bloodsport.
He's wearing the exact outfit.
It's
and he's
literally,
cool.
literally like a rip-off of him. But there's
Yep.
always been a very tense kind of like, you took me and my character and you never gave me any money. And they're like, shut the fuck up. Johnny Cage is just a representation of all 80s Kung Fu martial arts white guys.
And
Anyway.
certainly the fact that he did splits and, did lots of high kicks and stuff like
I'm
that. and
fucking
looks
super
an awful lot
excited
like
for
you is
Mortal Kombat.
nothing legally provable.
Yeah.
Look,
No,
I'll do my homework because the new movie looks absolutely ridiculous and I'm here for it.
yeah.
Yes,
Definitely.
and we are looking forward to hopefully doing something very special with that movie as well. So keep your eyes on.
But that's
peeled.
coming up. That's exciting. I'm fucking excited for that one.
Yeah.
And then there's
yep.
also Black Widow. I don't know when's Black Widow coming. I've got to go
I
through.
think
July.
it's pushed to July now.
Oh fuck!
Yep.
Really?
I know.
The
they just
changing
keep pushing
dates.
and pushing it. I
We'd
know,
love to
it's
be able to say
annoying.
we're going to do this next week, but we don't know because they keep moving the fucking dates around.
Yep.
Right.
And we will try and continue doing the occasional Friday night thing, though this one may be a bit difficult because I'll be on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, same.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
So yeah. Oh yeah. If you are feeling so inclined,
if you're
come and say hi to us. If you're on the Gold Coast, come and say hello to us
Yeah.
because we're going to be at Supernova.
Yes.
Jill and I are
Yes.
going to be there.
yeah,
And
Peter
so
and I.
will
will.
Beck.
And
Beck.
Beck, yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Like,
Tom
go
Holland's wife.
pop along and say hi to those
But
crazy
you know
kids.
what, Quinny? We will have to do a show for the following Friday because it's the finale of Falcon and the
Absolutely.
Winter Soldier.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I do feel like we have some very, we've got, if you haven't joined it yet, please join the periodic table Marvel spoiler thread talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Because even though Dion doesn't like the show, there have been some very, very interesting. Jill's
Bye,
come on.
Jill. No,
That's
she's
it.
Sorry, no, I'm here. Just like low battery.
nope.
Yeah.
Also, Dion,
Speak it
I
up.
don't know how after this last episode you do not love Sam still. Do you still have ill feelings towards Sam? Do you still not like Sam?
Falcon and Winter Soldier's a piece of shit.
Dude,
Dion!
dude, after last
Wow.
episode.
No.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
Disappointing.
Uh,
So great.
I'm still not in there. Like, I mean, I have to say though, I've got to go. I've got to get on that. I'm on the Sebastian Stan bandwagon. I'm like, yeah, go on, you little.
Yeah.
Give that man an Emmy, a daytime Emmy. Go on, you're doing a good job. But
Daytime Emmy.
yeah.
He can have a nighttime one if he wants.
You know what?
I'll give him a nighttime Emmy.
Fuck. I
on
mean,
that-
You know, Emmys are really pointy, right?
chaos walking.
Yeah. Isn't it a good thing we can't see Jill's thoughts right now?
Yeah.
yeah.
It's an awful lot of Sebastian Stan's butt.
Oh dear.
Oh yeah, well, he put that up on Instagram
Did
today. So.
that go up on Instagram today? Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
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 Sorry, as
I
Quinny
have
was
to go,
saying.
I'm checking Instagram.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Oh,
See them
Pete,
both
it's
just
a
go,
peach.
Yeah, I'll be in my bunk. But I would say yes. Join in with the conversation on the Facebook groups that we have that are running.
Yeah,
because
we have so much fun.
I feel so pleased, but also annoyed that I go to post things on the periodic table Facebook page
I
that
know,
I see
right?
that are funny, and I realize that someone has done it like 6 hours ago, or like I look at those groups because everyone in those groups posts shit faster than I can even read it. So I just kind of like, oh, I've seen it now. All right, okay, fine.
You got to up your game.
Yeah, if you want-
absolutely. Though there was
Too
a
slow, Dad. Come on.
Yeah. There was a really interesting conversation in this last week about, the comparison between John Walker as U.S. agent or the new Captain America and whether he's, Superman or Homelander.
Oh, he's a Homelander.
Yeah. I don't think he is. I think he's Superman.
I think
but
he's a
just bit
Snyder
different.
Superman, and
Exactly.
and Captain. Superman for Christopher Reeve Superman was Chris Evans.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Captain
yeah,
America.
okay. That's
Yeah.
a good
Chris.
point.
Everyone who's cool is called Chris.
Yeah.
For
Chris
Yeah.
Reeve.
sake. Yeah,
Chris
Chris
Evans.
Reeve. Yeah.
Chris Rea. He was a big. he was big in the 80s. Anyway, we really should fuck off.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us in the chat. We'll work out how to do like buttons and make things go stuff. And thanks for subscribing.
Yes, to those of you who have joined in, who have subscribed, thank you so much. That is amazing. It is really, really, really fucking cool. And we love that we are now affiliated so that you can do that. We appreciate the support so much. It's really cool. Makes us feel very special.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. And this has been the Periodic Table of Awesome. I've been Quinny.
I've been Dion.
And Peter?
Yeah.
And I've been Jill. You'll find out next week if I had to buy a new laptop.
Yay!
Oh, no.
Well done for joining in on your phone. Hooray!
Yay! And now we're going to raid Barjo because he's streaming right now and it's always entertaining.
Excellent. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.